Hi, I'm Dean with Old English Outfitters, and today we're going to be talking about the brand new Vortex Optics Defender CCW Micro Red Dot. So this is brand new, hot off the presses from Vortex, and I am very excited for this red dot because Vortex does not have a great reputation for micro red dots to be mounted on handguns. And while the glass is typically very clear, the dot is crisp in their units, they are not the most durable, or at least they have not been up until now. So they have just come out with the Defender CCW, and it is really geared towards those micro carry pistols, similar to the Holosun 507K or the Shield RMSC, that micro red dot footprint. This actually does fit both the RMS and the RMSC footprint, which is kind of the industry standard for micro CCW pistols now. They all come direct milled for one of those two optics. The slots are just too small for a plate system, so they went with direct milled. Most companies have just went ahead and designed around that footprint. So most of the red dots you see that are in this size range will fit a variety of pistols. This is a very nice red dot. Very clean lines, a nice look overall because looking cool does matter, but it also functions quite well. This is the 3MOA version. It is a top-fed battery, so similar to like a Trijicon SRO or the other Vortex red dots, you have a top battery tray. This has a 9,500 hour battery life, which is pretty okay. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. One reticle choice, it's just the dot. It does have brightness adjustments on both sides, and it is shake awake. So it does have motion activation technology and an auto shut-off feature if it remains motionless for a certain amount of time. Now, what do you get in the box? This is probably the best equipped red dot that I have ever seen as far as what you get in the package. So all for the same price. This comes with a low mount Picatinny mount for putting on like a Ruger Mark IV or anything that has a top mounted Picatinny rail already installed. So you get that in the box. It has a nice metal adjustment tool, both for the screws, removal of the battery cap, and adjusting your elevation and windage. It also comes packs of screws for basically every type of pistol you can think of. Probably the best equipped red dot out of the box. Most red dots will come with one set of screws. You'll have to buy different ones, or hopefully the screw packs that come with your multi-optic system, whatever it may be for whatever pistol, comes with a set of screws that will fit it. Not an issue with the Defender CCW. You get all the screws you could ever possibly need. Now let's talk about the red dot itself, the overall construction and the features. So this is a billet aluminum body that is milled out, and we have, of course, a nice large piece of glass. We have some knurling on the front of the lens housing for racking the optic off of anything you may want. Beyond that, it looks very similar to any other micro red dot that we've seen. Overall construction. You have the ramped support for the window itself, two screws in the back, some sort of fin system to protect your elevation and to simulate a rear sight if your pistol does not have a rear sight. The adjustment buttons are nice. They are very tactile. When you press, you get a positive click. This does have 8 daytime settings and 2 night vision settings. So if you really are wanting to shoot your carry gun with nods, you can do that. This does have a manual shutoff. It also does have a button lockout. So if you depress the up adjustment and hold it until the optic blinks, that is button lock. So it will be fixed on whatever brightness you have it set on until you hold the up button once more until it blinks again. Then you can adjust the optic. So it won't be switching brightnesses if it's bumping into things when it's in your waistband. If you want to manually shut the optic off, you hold the down button for a few seconds until the optic shuts off. Shutting the optic off also shuts off the shake awake. So if you manually shut the optic off, it's not going to turn back on when it senses motion. You will have to manually turn the optic back on to activate the red dot and to start using the shake awake again. So it is a true shut off. It shuts it all the way off. Also, you have a polymer piece on the top of the optic. They say that's to help with durability. So you do have that piece inserted into the top of the optic there for a little bit of shock absorption, aiding in durability. The dot looks very nice. It's a nice crisp dot. If you max the brightness out indoors, it tends to bloom and you can see the edges of the emitter. but we walked outside and maxed it out, and it is not a problem in higher light conditions. So it's really only when you're in low light maxing it out, you get that reflection back from the lens onto the emitter where you can see it. Talking about the lens itself, they use what's called a large aspherical lens, which really helps with the distortion of your sight picture. There's a little bit of a blue tint like most optics will have, but I did not notice any distortion, no fishbowl effect. Also, this is what they say is the largest in class lens for this size of optic. So you do get a little bit more of a sight picture than something like an RMSC or a Holosun 507K, all while still being that nice durable housing. The elevation and windage adjustment, they are audible. You can hear the clicks of the detent, so I know there's one in there that's going to capture your adjustments, but they are not tactile whatsoever. It feels like just turning a screw. I didn't feel any positive click for each of the different adjustment levels, but you can hear the detent moving. So you kind of have to listen for it when you're adjusting to see, okay, there's quarter MOA, there's quarter MOA, and be very careful with it. This thing was very durable for what we shot of it. We did rack it off of the front of several wooden objects to load some brass into the chamber. Didn't really notice any problem with that whatsoever. The lens maintained its integrity, and this knurling on the front here did seem to help with traction. You really do have to try to slip the optic off to notice that. I've done reload malfunction drills with racking the optic on stuff many times, and this one did have positive traction, so I did notice it biting into the wood and not letting me slip off if I was trying to press around into the chamber. They did not just knurl the front of the lens. If you look at the side, there is actually an extension beyond the normal plane of the housing. So they did add material and then texture the material. So you do have added durability there. If you are using this to bite into something to rack the slide, it is not going to be touching the lens. They made sure it stood off a little bit more than that, so you're not going to risk contacting your lens on whatever you're racking the slide off of. Now, the Shake Awake feature, it is a 9,500 hour battery life. Now, that Shake Awake does not automatically shut the optic off until it has been 14 hours motionless. That is interesting. Seeing as it is a motion-activated system, I'm not sure why they would let it run for that long without automatically shutting the optic off. It feels like you're just eating away at the battery life needlessly when you could have it much shorter. Like the Holosun Shake Awake, it shuts off after 8 minutes of being completely motionless and starts conserving battery life. So why have it leave at 14 hours? I'm not entirely sure. So it has to be sitting completely dead, motionless for 14 hours for it to shut off, which is longer than overnight if you get up at any reasonable hour of the morning. So it's basically always going to be on, unless you're putting it in the safe and leaving it in the safe. One other minimal gripe that I have is the refresh rate on the emitter. You guys have heard me talk about this before, but a lower refresh rate on the emitter makes it very visible to see the dot blinking if you are moving the dot. And it's not just sweeping across different targets, but anytime you're oscillating that dot, you're going to notice it breaking, whereas a higher refresh rate is going to look smooth, like a laser pointer. So overall, Vortex was so darn close. They were so close to having an industry-leading optic. If they would have done a few things different, there would be no reason to buy anything else over this optic here. For being able to mount it on anything, it fitting 2 different footprints, which are pretty much every CCW gun or micro compact gun on the market right now, top-fed battery, Shake Awake technology, awesome lens, wider field of view, durable optic body, and actual thought-out design. And then they fall right off with the Shake Awake is basically useless. And the adjustments are just a little annoying. So they were inches from having, like I said, an industry-leading CCW optic, but just a little short. Now that being said, this is still a really good choice. I don't want my harsh words to make you think that this is not a great optic, because it is. There's a few design features on this that no other optic on the market has, and we can tell Vortex is listening to customers. It has been a complaint for many years that the Viper and the Venom are not all that durable, and they have adjusted their design to accommodate that. So this is a much more durable optic. They put a lot of thought into it. The top-fed battery. If this had low battery life and it was bottom-fed, I'm done. All right, I'm not doing that. I'm not re-zeroing my optic every 2 months. But because it is top-fed, that lets me smooth out that concern a little bit. And with all the other features that this optic provides at a low price point, it's still a really great option. We've already sold a couple of these and mounted them on guns, and we're getting really good reviews. It's nice to see companies coming out, listening to feedback and what else is being produced in the market, and matching that, adding to it, improving upon it. So we have choices. What do you like? What company do you like? All of that with Vortex's amazing warranty. You do anything to this thing and they will repair or replace it. That is the thing that they are famous for, that has made them one of the leading manufacturers in the industry, is that amazing warranty, no questions asked. So I really, really do like this optic. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. In addition, we do have an Instagram page at OE Outfitters. Please go over there, check it out. If you like what you see, give us a follow. I'm Dean with Old English Outfitters, and we'll see you next time.